Traders, it is Friday, March 20th. Hope you all having a good day. I'm back with another long form video. This one's going to be a bit of a philosophical one, so sit back, relax, get your coffee. We're going to have a bit of a discussion here. I'm not going to talk about any specific trades. I'm going to talk more about a big picture thing that I've seen developing lately and why trading has recently become more dangerous than it used to be. I hate to say it. I wish I wasn't saying it, but it's the truth, and I'm just going to tell the truth. It's more dangerous trading now than it was a year ago or 2 years ago. It's riskier. There are a lot more things that can go wrong for you. And I'm not saying this to tell you to not trade. You know, I still make trades almost every single day. So as far as my life goes, I'm still living my life. I'm just saying the way that things have been going in the world, and therefore the world is connected to the stock market, it's created a lot more danger for people. And that's what I'm going to talk about right now. So if you've read my book, Secrets of the Lone Wolf Trader, you'll remember there's a part in there where I discuss how luck and skill are both a thing that exists in reality. And although everybody would love to say, well, I make my own luck, and I make my own luck because I have skill, that's a nice thing to believe in your mind. And in a sense, it's true. But at the same time, luck is really a thing. And in the book, I talk about how, you know, for example, maybe you're holding a long position on whatever ticker, and then overnight the CEO of the company gets busted for doing something, and the stock price falls dramatically the next day. And I wrote that as like a hypothetical situation. Well, that exact thing actually did happen last night. So Supermicro Computer, which is a ticker that I have frequently traded within the last year, 3 guys from Supermicro Computer just got busted for helping smuggle billions of dollars of AI chips into China. So I've got a news article pulled up here right now. It says 3 people associated with artificial intelligence server maker Supermicro Computer, including its co-founder, were charged with helping smuggle at least 2.5 billion of U.S. AI technology to China in violation of export laws, the U.S. Justice Department said on Thursday. So the thing that I wrote in my book as a hypothetical, maybe it might happen situation, literally just happened. So the reason that I'm bringing this up is I am being extremely scalpy right now with my trades. You know, it used to be I would be a lot more likely to let a trade stay on longer and even hold overnight and sometimes multiple days. I mean, there's been plenty of times in the past where I've opened a trade on Monday and held it until Thursday. So I'm basically swing trading on these tickers. But now, almost every single trade that I do, I'm in and out within a half hour or 45 minutes because you just simply do not know what's about to happen minute by minute. And, you know, the war is another thing that's just thrown a wrench into everything. Because, like, war creates chaos, and chaos affects everything in the world. I mean, the war doesn't just affect the people fighting and dying in the war. The war affects companies, it affects the stock market, it affects everything. So all of this stuff is interconnected. And so when you introduce more chaos into anything in this world, everything else is going to become more chaotic. And when I think about trading, what I want is I want as little chaos as I can possibly get. And I want things to be as boring as they can possibly be, so that when I look at a chart and I see a thing start to develop on a chart, I can be pretty damn comfortable and confident that this thing is going to happen because I saw this other thing develop on the chart. And that's what you can do when there's not a lot of competing elements in the world, right? You know, when you think about it, it's like basically under quote unquote normal situations, when you see something on a chart that looks like a really, really strong setup, you could be like 80% confident that a thing is going to happen just simply because you saw this thing set up on the chart. You see a candlestick pattern set up, or you see, you know, something else on an indicator set up, and you go, okay, all of these pieces of data aligned, and now I'm reasonably confident that this other thing is going to happen because of that. Nowadays, with just so many different things happening, like with the war and like with, you know, outward market manipulation, I don't think that it's any, you know, wild hot take to say that certain forces at high levels in the government are actively manipulating the market on a daily basis. I don't think that's a wild claim to make. You know, you just never know when somebody's going to drop a tweet and suddenly everything is going to skyrocket or fall through the floor. It's just, everything is wildly unpredictable, and that unpredictability is what you don't want to see when you are day trading. You know, when you think back about like other administrations, like think back to when Biden was president, he was incredibly boring. And, you know, I didn't love Joe Biden. There's plenty of things that I didn't like at all about Joe Biden. But the one thing about Biden is that he was boring. And you could be absolutely like confident that Biden was never going to give you some tweet in the middle of the night that was suddenly going to like tank or, you know, prop up the markets immediately the next day. It was like boring, and it was pretty consistent, and it was like that, you know. And that's what I want to see in this current administration. There's just so much chaos in every single way, every single day. You just literally do not know what's going to come next, minute by minute, hour by hour. And that's certainly not to say that you don't have opportunities, because you do have plenty of opportunities. And in fact, I have made a lot of money personally on a lot of these chaotic things that have happened in this current administration. Like, I made a lot of money the day after that whole Liberation Day thing happened. I made a lot of money on that, and that was chaotic as hell. And I was able to take advantage of it and make money on it. So I'm also not saying that you can never make money when there's chaos. Yeah, you can definitely make a lot of money when things are very chaotic. I'm just saying that as a whole, I would much rather have there be a lot less chaos and have more of this, and have more of a reasonable chance that what you're seeing on a candlestick pattern is actually going to play out into something real, rather than, you know, like feeling like you're rolling the dice and going, well, I hope nothing crazy in the war pops up in the next hour. I hope no wild tweet and deletes happen where, you know, somebody like the energy secretary tweets something like, oh yeah, tankers are going through the Strait of Hormuz, and, you know, price of oil just falls through the roof, and then 10 minutes later Pam Bondi comes out and says, no, actually that was completely fake, that didn't happen at all, and then the price comes back like this. You just literally do not know what to expect, and everything is chaotic as hell. And so getting back to the main point of this video is, I'm just telling you guys that I am keeping everything very, very scalpy at this moment, because, like, the way I feel at this moment in time is that the passage of time is your enemy as far as the possibility of chaos being interjected into your trades. So if you open up a trade at 8:45, the chances are relatively small that something completely wild is going to happen between 8:45 and 9 a.m. But the chances of something completely wild happening between 8:45 and 2 p.m. grow exponentially. And it grows even further if you talk about the next day and the day after that and the day after that. So I'm just saying, keep it real scalpy. And I think that, the fundamental ideas of spotting a trend and then jumping in on the trend and riding the trend, those fundamental concepts are still just as sound now as they ever were. It's just, I don't trust anyone else as far as the luck elements of things that can enter your trades, because there's luck and there's skill. And so you're using your skill to make your trades. That's what you have actual literal control over. And then the thing that you have no control over is the luck aspect of it. And in normal, boring times, the luck aspect of it is probably not going to bite you in the ass all that much. Right now, I feel like the luck aspect of things could very well bite you in the ass, because although I'm lucky I didn't have anything held overnight on SMCI, I haven't traded that ticker in a couple weeks now, actually, but I've traded that ticker quite a lot in the past. If you were holding SMCI overnight, you suddenly woke up this morning and you lost all of your money on that trade, basically. And that's a terrible thing for anyone. So just don't put yourself in that position, and don't let yourself become the victim of bad luck because you didn't think about the possibility of all of these other outside influences that you have no control over sinking your trades. The only thing you have absolute control over is when you can get in and get out of your trades. So get into and out of your trades reasonably quickly until things start to cool off a little bit, until the war starts to have some sort of an end, or at least I don't even know how to put it, really. It's just terrible. Like, not only do I hate it at a human level, I hate all of the people that have to die because of this war, but the stock market level, all of the people who are trading who are just frustrated and fed up because they don't know what's going to happen on an hour-to-hour, day-to-day basis. So until all of this stuff just chills out a little bit, keep your trades conservative, keep your time frames conservative, keep your sizing conservative. You can still make money, absolutely. Just be content with trading smaller and making less money until the temperature on everything is turned down a little bit. And I really do believe that if you do that, you will be better off in the long run. So that's it for right now. Hope everybody has a good weekend, and take care of yourselves, and see you back here next week. Bye-bye, everybody.